No two minds ever come together without thereby creating a third, invisible, intangible force which may be likened to a third mind, Napoleon Hill. Success is not a solo mission. It never was. And if you think you're going to win this game of life by doing it alone, you've already lost. The greatest empires were not built by lone wolves. They were built by alliances, brotherhood, partnership, strategy, trust. When two minds come together with a definite purpose, something divine is born. An unseen intelligence begins to work through them. Ideas multiply. Confidence surges. Energy compounds. That is the mastermind principle. You want to grow faster? Get around people who force you to level up, people who see what you can't, who speak what you're afraid to say, who push you past what you thought was your limit. The mastermind isn't a group. It's a frequency, a higher level of thinking, a deeper level of accountability, a source of strength that no one man can access alone. This is where dreams stop being ideas and become plans, movements, reality. So if you're tired of spinning your wheels, if you're sick of being the smartest person in the room, it's time to build your circle. It's time to find your tribe. It's time to tap into the real secret of every great achievement in history, because when the right minds connect, everything changes. Every moment you're alive, you're building something with your thoughts. Whether you know it or not, your mind is your workshop, and the tools are the thoughts you allow to live there. This video isn't for the passive. It's for the warrior, the one who's ready to take control of their thinking and create their life on purpose. Truly, thoughts are things, and powerful things at that. Napoleon Hill, every empire, every invention, every legacy ever carved into history started the same way, with a thought, a single spark. It didn't look like much at first, but that thought had energy. It had weight. It had power, because when a thought is repeated with emotion, it becomes belief, and belief, when backed by action, becomes reality. You see, most people think success is external. They chase money, fame, recognition, but it was never about the outside world. The true battlefield is within. The real war is the one you fight inside your mind. The moment you decide to take full control of your thoughts, you shift from being a victim to a creator. You stop reacting to the world and start creating one. Let me ask you a question. What do you think about when you're alone, when no one's watching, when the world is silent? Because that's who you're becoming. Every dominant thought is shaping your habits, and every habit is writing your future. If you think weak thoughts, you live a weak life. If you think powerful thoughts, you build a powerful legacy. You can't think like a failure and expect to win. You can't feed your mind fear and expect confidence. You can't think like a sheep and expect to lead. You must take control, because thought is the first step to destiny. Whatever you allow in will manifest out. Guard your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. This is not just motivational talk. This is universal law. What you think about, you become. So the question is, what kind of life are your thoughts building right now? There is a law, one that operates whether you believe in it or not, one that never sleeps, never stops, never misses. It's called the law of the mind. And here's what it says. Whatever you plant in your mind, your life will grow. The mind doesn't filter, it doesn't judge, it simply obeys. If you plant fear, you grow anxiety. If you plant doubt, you grow delay. But if you plant faith, if you plant a vision, if you plant purpose backed by obsession, you grow the kind of life most people only dream about. The law of the mind is always on. You can't turn it off. Just like gravity, it doesn't care if you're aware of it. If you feed your mind trash, you'll live in confusion. If you feed your mind greatness, you'll build something extraordinary. This is the secret most people miss. They try to change their circumstances, but never change the source. The source is always the thought, and that's why your environment matters. Who you talk to, what you watch, what you scroll. It's not entertainment, it's mental programming. Your mind is constantly recording every word, every image, every belief, even the ones you didn't choose, and eventually it becomes your default reality. If you want more, you've got to plant more. And if you want better, you have to stop letting weeds grow in a garden meant for greatness. You can't afford to think like everyone else, not if you want to live on a different level. The mind is not a toy, it's a tool. Use it right and it will build you an empire. Use it wrong and it will bury you in regret. This law is not broken, it's being used by you right now. So ask yourself, what are you feeding your mind? What thoughts are shaping your tomorrow? Because what you sow in thought, you will reap in reality. Napoleon Hill said it clearly. Faith is the starting point of all accumulation of riches. Not religion, not blind hope, but belief. Unshakable emotional belief in yourself, in your purpose, in your ability to manifest the future you see in your mind. And that belief doesn't just happen. It's built through repetition, through auto-suggestion, Autosuggestion is the act of feeding your mind the thoughts you want to believe until your subconscious accepts them as truth. It's mental programming on purpose. Every day you're already using autosuggestion. When you say things like, "I'm tired," "I'm not good enough," "I can't do this," your mind hears you, your subconscious records it, and your life follows suit. But what happens when you flip the script? When you start saying, "I was born for this," "I'm unstoppable," "I'm becoming the greatest version of me," at first it feels like a lie, but that's only because you've repeated the wrong message for too long. Your job isn't to believe it immediately. Your job is to keep repeating it until your belief catches up. This is how champions are made. They don't wait for belief. They build it, word by word, day by day. They write their goals. They speak their affirmations. They repeat their vision until their inner reality becomes louder than the outer world. This is the power of autosuggestion. If you want to rise, you must speak like it. If you want to win, you must affirm it. Every morning, every night, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. You become what you consistently tell yourself, because words shape thought, thoughts shape belief, and belief shapes action. This is the formula. This is the truth. This is your weapon. Use it or be used by it. There is a silent killer of dreams. It doesn't come with a warning. It doesn't shout. It whispers. And if you're not careful, it will live in your mind rent-free. It's called negative thinking. Every time you say, "I can't," "I'll never," "That's not possible," you're feeding the beast. Negative thoughts are not harmless. They don't just sit in the back of your mind. They grow, they take root, and they slowly erode the structure of your belief until one day you wake up and wonder, "Why haven't I changed? Why am I stuck in the same place?" The answer is simple. You've been thinking in circles, digging the same mental grave every day. Negative thinking is a choice, a habit, and like all habits, it can be broken. But first, you must confront it. You must become aware of the poison in your self-talk, because what you allow to repeat becomes your belief system, and your belief system controls your life. Here's the truth most won't admit. You cannot create a powerful life with a weak mind, and you cannot hold a strong mind while entertaining negative thoughts. You've got to choose. Every time a negative thought appears, you kill it, you replace it. You don't argue with it. You override it. You say, "I am more than this doubt. I am capable. I am built for this. I decide what stays in my mind." The voice in your head doesn't control you. You control it. You have the power to reprogram the entire operating system, but only if you're bold enough to stop tolerating negativity like it's normal. It's not normal. It's not helpful. It's a virus, and you must protect your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. If your dominant thoughts are fear, lack, weakness, then your life will reflect that. But if your dominant thoughts are faith, courage, and purpose, then the world will move to match it. This isn't just mindset. It's your blueprint, and you're the architect. Thoughts alone are powerful, but they are not enough. You can visualize all day. You can meditate on your greatness. You can chant affirmations from sunrise to sunset. But if you don't move, nothing changes. The universe responds not just to thought, but to action. Action is the bridge between what's in your head and what's in your hand. Your mind builds the plan, but your feet must move it forward. That's the part people forget. They pray for success, but never prepare for it. They wish for change, but never walk toward it. And so nothing happens, because faith without action is dead. A dream without motion is a fantasy. Napoleon Hill said faith is the only known antidote for failure. But faith is not just a feeling, it's a force, and real faith leads to movement. If you say you believe, prove it, show up, do the hard things, put your vision to the test in the fire of real life, because that's where transformation happens. You cannot think your way to mastery. You must live your way into it. Every step forward is a message to the universe. I'm serious. I'm ready. I'm done waiting. Your mind is the engine, but your habits, your routines, your daily action, that's the fuel. Discipline, repetition, sacrifice. These aren't buzzwords. They are spiritual tools. Every time you act, even when you don't feel like it, you reinforce the identity of the person you're becoming. You don't just think success. You behave your way into it. Every thought carries power, but every action proves belief. So stop waiting. Start building, because belief without action is nothing but a wish. And this life, it doesn't reward wishes. It rewards the bold. Now we enter the invisible realm, the place where real change begins, where thoughts take root and grow silently. This is the subconscious mind. Your subconscious is always listening, not to what you say once, but to what you repeat over and over and over again. It's like a soil that accepts any seed and never questions whether that seed is good or bad. It just grows it. If you keep planting doubt, that's what grows. If you feed it vision, that's what multiplies. Most people are prisoners of their subconscious, not because it's broken, but because it's been programmed by fear, failure, and someone else's limits. But here's what Napoleon Hill discovered. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. That's not just motivation. That's a neurological truth. The subconscious doesn't understand fiction or reality. It believes what you tell it. It reacts to what you emotionally repeat. And then it begins to orchestrate the people, the places, the circumstances to match that internal command. It's like a magnet. It draws in what it expects. So what are you expecting? Are you expecting struggle, loss, being average? Or are you reprogramming your mind every day to expect abundance, greatness, victory? This isn't fantasy. It's science. It's the way your brain rewires, and you have the power to shape it. Every time you visualize, every time you speak your goals with emotion, every time you act in alignment with your higher self, you rewrite the code. You rewire the signal. You awaken a new reality. This is how you become what you think. Not overnight, but through consistent, emotional, obsessed repetition. You're not stuck. You're just running old software. And the moment you decide to update it, everything changes. You are not at the mercy of your past. You are the architect of your future. And it all begins in the subconscious mind. Look around you. Where are you? Who are you with? What do you allow into your mind every single day? Because you don't just rise by willpower. You rise by environment. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Every mind needs friendly contact with other minds for food of expansion and growth." He wasn't just talking about conversation. He was talking about mental nutrition. What you feed your mind through people, media, habits becomes your internal climate. And most people are living in a toxic greenhouse, surrounded by opinions, drenched in negativity, soaked in fear, and they wonder why nothing grows. If you put your mind in a room full of small thinkers, you'll start shrinking. If you hang around people who doubt everything, you'll question your dreams. If your daily atmosphere is full of gossip, distractions, and mediocrity, you'll suffocate. But when you change the room, when you upgrade the input, the output transforms. Environment is power, not just physically, but digitally, mentally, emotionally. Who are you learning from? Who do you follow? Who do you listen to in silence when you're alone? That's your mental board of directors, and they're influencing you, even when you're not aware of it. So be intentional. Choose voices that pull you forward. Cut out voices that hold you back. You don't have time to be around people who don't believe in the level you're trying to reach. Let go of the familiar if it no longer serves your future. This isn't disloyalty. This is survival. Your dream is too sacred to let it drown in average energy. You need elevation. You need clarity. You need the kind of influence that sharpens you, not softens you. Your environment is either your prison or your power station, and you're the one who chooses which it becomes. Upgrade your circle. Control your inputs. Guard your space like your purpose depends on it, because it does. Here's the truth about greatness that most people never want to hear. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not timing. It's persistence. Napoleon Hill said, "Persistence is to the character of man as carbon is to steel," meaning this: if you want to be unbreakable, you need resistance. You need pressure. You need the kind of pain that forges you. Persistence isn't glamorous. It's not trending. It's not sexy. But it's the difference between those who wish and those who win. Every time you want to quit and you keep going anyway, you're changing. You're becoming the version of yourself that's built for legacy. You're separating yourself from 99% of the world that folds under pressure. Persistence is the grind after the goal feels far. It's the reps you do after the motivation fades. It's waking up early when no one's watching. It's staying focused when everything tries to pull you off course. It's deciding, I don't care how long this takes, I will not break. There are going to be days when it hurts, days when nothing makes sense, days when the doubt screams louder than your faith. That's when you dig in. That's when you remind yourself who you are and what you came here to do. You don't get to choose your struggle, but you do get to choose what you do with it. And if you keep moving, step by step, breath by breath, failure by failure, you become unstoppable, because the world can't defeat the man who refuses to give up. This is the path of the few, the ones who become legends. Not because it was easy, but because they wouldn't quit. That's persistence. That's the power of never letting go. That's how steel is made, and that's how you become what you believe. If you don't know where you're going, every distraction looks like an opportunity. Every delay feels like a defeat, and life will drag you in 1,000 directions until you forget who you are. That's why Napoleon Hill said, "There is one quality which one must possess to win: definiteness of purpose, a definite chief aim, not just a goal, not a wish, not a vague idea, but a burning purpose, so clear you can feel it in your bones, so sharp it cuts through every excuse, so real that when you speak it out loud, the world listens." You see, most people drift. They chase money without meaning. They jump from hustle to hustle, but never plant roots in purpose. And then they wonder why they feel lost, why they burn out, why success feels empty even when they touch it. But the moment you set a definite chief aim, everything changes. The mind aligns, the subconscious engages, the universe adjusts, and you begin to move with power, not confusion. Your chief aim is your North Star. It doesn't move. It doesn't argue. It just points the way. It gives meaning to every sacrifice. It silences the noise of the crowd. It turns should into must. Ask yourself right now, What's your chief aim? What are you willing to struggle for, to fight for, to live and die for? Until you answer that, you'll keep drifting. But once you decide, you become dangerous, because a person with purpose is magnetic. They walk with intention. They talk with clarity. They make decisions fast because they already know the destination. Don't chase everything. Chase one thing with everything you've got, and watch how the world steps aside for the man who knows exactly where he's going.